I'm going to be talking about Joker 2 for a while. But after seeing this shit, the fact that anybody could call Joker a terrible movie baffles my mind. And now we're going to get into this because this is by somebody established who, growing up, I've seen their movies and they got a great filmography. And this is another example of, I guess, being too fucking creative for its own good. So let's talk about Megalopolis. I want to start by just listing off the people in this movie because this has some heavy fucking hitters in this movie. You've got Adam Driver, Giancarlo Esposito, Nathaniel Emmanuel, Aubrey Plaza, Shia LaBeouf, John Voight, Lawrence Fishburne, Jason Schwartzman, Catherine Hunt, Chloe Finman, James Reamer, and Dustin Hoffman. This is a fucking stacked cast in this movie. And so not only is this a stacked cast, but this also has some of the most beautiful shots I've ever seen. This movie is gorgeous from top to bottom. And it's bold. So let's talk about this movie because I'm going to give you guys a breakdown. But honestly, if you want to talk about shit that doesn't make sense, this movie to me is a movie that doesn't make sense. So, my God. So Megalopolis. I'm trying to think of the best synopsis I could give. So it's a futuristic utopia, which is also using the idea of, hey, hello, how are you? So Megalopolis is a future dystopian type film where it's an alternate present-day American Republic, kind of a what-if scenario if we never got rid of the Roman Empire kind of structure. So in this present day, there is a character called Caesar, there's Cicero, and this is the thing about this movie. I've heard a lot of people saying that they don't understand the movie, like to an extent, and even some of it is just not very clearly explained. I get the gist of what Francis Ford was going for. But the order of events and how this movie is structured and how it moves from scene to scene and the explanation of the sort of fantastical elements are very poorly conveyed. So it makes a lot of sense that it's hard to grasp exactly. Like, dude, the marketing team must have had such a fucking tough time trying to promote this movie because quite honestly, I don't know even how you fucking cut a trailer for this movie. Like, so there was this movie a while back that came out. It was with Jennifer Lopez and something else. It was about a tree or something. It was like the Tree of Life or some shit like that. I liked it, but it was a very out there movie. This movie falls in that same kind of bracket. This is a fucking weird movie that you could see Francis Ford Coppola's passion for what he was doing. But as my title stated, I was like, what the actual fuck? This movie is very just disorganized. Can I get context on what bro is yapping about? Oh, I'm talking about Megalopolis. Anyways, this movie is very much it feels like a project that the director wanted to do, but I don't think this movie was made for anybody to watch. Because from a story standpoint, it is all over the fucking place with a lot of different ideas that I feel like don't really come together, or they've come together in a sloppy way. Now, as much as people have shit on this movie, I'm just gonna say aesthetically and acting wise, it's pretty good. It's a pretty great cast. There is really good acting in the movie. And the way that the visuals are pretty cool in showing some different things. Also, there's some uses of some, like, I don't know, the main character has some kind of ability. It's not explained whether this is a supernatural ability or whatever, but he can slow down time and see how things are constructed in building this utopian city that he wants to build, much like Caesar, which I guess is supposed to be an allegory for modern times and people wanting to build a perfect utopia, but it'll never work out, that kind of a thing. Like, I get the overall message of the movie. The issue that I have with is just it felt like he aesthetically wanted to make a gorgeous film, but there wasn't anything else behind it. There wasn't any real story to drive the rest of the movie forward. So you get very fucking lost in this film. And it's a shame because I think somewhere in an alternate universe, this movie might have another, way it was made where it was understandable and it became a hit because it was by Francis Ford Coppola. But unfortunately, this movie is just bad. It's bad, it's disjointed, and it's all over the place. And the real thing that it's got going for it is the stunning visuals and the great acting. But when you're acting and you have a visually beautiful palette, if there's no story behind it, it's just like you get to the end of this movie and you go, so what was the whole fucking point, is what I got out of it when I got to the end of this film. I'm just like, what did it all mean? The movie explained fucking nothing. I think the movie's like 2 hours, and I still have no fucking idea what the whole point of the movie was. Yeah, it was 138 minutes. It was like, I got to the ending, and I was just like, the way that it ends, it's almost like, so was the whole point because of, and I don't want to give away spoilers, but something that happens, and is it supposed to be like we pass these things on to the next generation in hopes that they do better than we did? Like, I can see the direction he was going in. It just did not get there, at least for me, very well. So this movie is, it doesn't even piss me off. I don't even feel like I really wasted my time, like with shitty things I know intentionally made shitty. And that's the conflicting part about this movie. I feel a general sense of passion and love for whatever this is. And God, I want to be there for the creative to be like, they made something unique, nothing like we've seen the past couple of years. He funded it himself. Like, I want to back up the artist for that. But the movie is so fucking confusing and not clearly explained at all. And it's just like, I can't connect with this on any level. Like, I can respect the artistry that was put into this. This isn't a lazy movie. And that's the thing that makes this rating super hard for me, because this isn't a lazy cash grab, phoned in performances. Like, there's some clear thoughts and directions, and clearly the actors are acting great, which means they understand what the director is conveying to them. It's just, I don't understand what the director is conveying to me based upon the script written. And it's kind of really disappointing, because this isn't a film that I'm going to give a low score to because I hate everything they did, or it's political or something like that. It's just weird, and it just doesn't come together. And it's great, though, to talk about now, movies that I'm not mad at because of political reasons, or the fucking director says something stupid, or attacking fans. It's just, this movie is just too fucking niche. I don't know. This movie is just like as if the director had an idea and a vision, but it was for himself. And you know what? Fuck it. Good job, Francis. He's been in the game forever. He made two of the greatest movies of all time. If he wants to make a project like this where he fucking spent his own money to make it, and from what I gathered from looking up interviews with this, I don't even think he was really marketing this to anybody. So that's where I feel like, yeah, I understand the bad ratings, but at the same time, this is super creative. If the story was just slightly tighter and explained a bit more to the audience, I think he was walking a very fine line between the story falling apart and it coming together at the ending and becoming a brilliant piece. And that's hard to do, man. And Francis Ford's got to be up there. I don't even know how the fuck old he is. Like, I want to say, hold on a second. How old is he? Yeah, he's getting up there, man. So, I mean, all I could say is good for him. Like, it's such a weird spot for me to review this because I'm not angry at the film. And in an odd way, I don't feel like I wasted my time. I just feel like I want to know. Like, I want him to do an interview. I want to know what the fuck the meaning of the movie was. Like, I just take an article. Like, I think I can string together some kind of a meaning, but I'm lost as to what the fuck the purpose of the movie was or what it all meant. It's super fucking weird. I don't understand it. So, I don't know. People care so much about movies anymore or even shows. True. That might be true. He made 3 of my all-time favorite movies, The Godfather 2, Dracula, and Apocalypse Now. That's what I'm saying. Francis Ford Coppola is a great director. And even a movie like this that is so fucking niche and so weird, I feel myself saying that I don't think this is a bad movie. I just think it's not a movie really made for anybody. And what I mean by that is sometimes when you're so creative and so genius and you have these ideas, you know what you're trying to convey. In your mind, it makes sense. But when you put it out there to the mass audiences, they just don't get it. It doesn't resonate. And really, that's the problem with this movie. It has such a, like, I think I would have to watch this movie like 4 or 5 fucking times to try to pull out what's being said. And then I would have to couple that with studying shit about Rome and stuff like that. And then I'd have to probably like see interviews and kind of then piece together, okay, from this and this and this. And I respect films that do that, but not to that extent. Like, you got to fucking give me something. And it was like, I thought we were going in a general direction, but then the fucking ending was just like complete left turn. And I'm like, okay, so what are we doing here, Francis? What are we doing? I want to understand you, but you got to meet me halfway. Like, you can be ambiguous, but then you could just be vague and like not explain shit. Like, there's keeping things from your audience to let them piece together a movie, but you got to give them clues for them to put together. And this movie is too ambiguous. It's too I don't even know how the fuck to describe it. It's too vague, and it's like we don't even really figure out. I figured out more by reading the synopsis here than the movie actually sets up this whole world. And it's a fucking beautiful world. Like, it is gorgeous. And like I said, the characters are interesting. Like, I get it. He wants to do a modern Roman Empire. Like, America is supposed to be Rome. And as we know, Rome falls. But it takes certain people to keep society going. Like, I get the message, but the story itself is fucking confusing. And so, on one point, I understand what he's saying, but then on the other point, who is this for? So, and it's really crazy because I know I'm going to get a lot of shit for my Joker review, which I don't fucking care. I have no regrets. 9 out of 10. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. I will fucking die on that hill. But for this to me is an example of too ambiguous. Like, this to me is like not giving your audience enough, like or hate Joker 2. I understood everything that was going on there. Even if people don't like it and blah, 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 bitch and complain, whatever, even if they didn't like where it goes, I liked the movie and I understood. And that's the thing. People understand. They just don't fucking like where it goes. Me, this movie, I do not fucking understand the world. I vaguely understand the character motivations. And that's just because of the implication of Adam Driver being Caesar. So I get who he's against. I get like the wanting to overthrow him, the whole thing with power. Like I'm not stupid. I understand what the movie is telling me, but the story is so disjointed and weird that it just takes away from what the initial message of the movie is. And it kind of brings it to this weird place where you're just going to fucking confuse your audience and they're going to get to the end of this movie and go, what was the goddamn point? Like, that's it? Did he rebuild the world? He wanted to, like, the way it cuts off, it's like, it feels like there should be at least 15 to 20 minutes more of this movie. And it just, like, kind of cuts off at this point, and I'm like, okay, I guess that's it. Like, so I don't hate this movie. I don't want to shit on this movie. It's not egregiously bad enough to get me to rant and rave. It's just like I'm confused. And maybe in the comments below, let me know if you pulled out something more than I could or if this resonated with you. But it was just such a fucking weird movie. And the shame part is, this is not bad on a technical or even acting sense. This is really just a very confusing, convoluted story that is weighed down by metaphors and by these long exposition scenes that are just kind of fucking useless and don't add anything to the story and what I want to know about the characters. It's like watching a play when they go into a random monologue, but it's like movie form. It's really fucking weird. And like, you know, I guess he made the movie he wanted to. He fucking financed this himself without a studio. So, you know, what the fuck am I going to say, man? Good for you, Francis. This movie didn't resonate with me. I give it a 5 out of 10. I don't even think it's really, I don't think it's a 6 to give it like, oh, it's just like, I think this is below average for me just because I didn't get it. But I don't think it's really super low either. It's just, it really is a middle of the road movie for me. It's like right in that middle spot where I don't know how I feel genuinely about the movie. And I may one day rewatch this to see if I get a different perspective or maybe more interviews come out and I get a better idea of what they were going for. And then maybe I can watch the movie and go, oh, okay, it just fucking went over my head. But I will say this much. Seeing it on the big screen was fucking amazing. Like, the visuals for this and the sound design, oh my God. Dude, one thing Francis Ford Coppola can do is the fucking sound in this movie is fucking tremendous. Like, there's a scene where he's, like, creating these fucking walkways, and you can hear them rise, and then you can hear them move, but it's not even like an artificial sound. It's just like wind moving with concrete. Like, the sound design on this, the score, the fucking acting, the visuals are like a feast for the eyes. This thing is like a movie if you just want to watch how you should shoot scenes and shots and sound design. Like, this is like a film student study movie to me. Like, this is a movie you show to first or second year film students on how to get the perfect shot, how to mix the sound just right with the scene you're showing. But unfortunately, it doesn't have a good story or a good plot to hold up the rest of the movie. So it's really 138 minutes of beautiful visuals excellent sound and great acting, but you're still sitting there wondering, what the fuck is the point for me watching this movie? Like, where are we going with this? What is the fucking point? That's my biggest rant about this. It's like, what? Why did you? What does it mean? Why did you make this? What? What does it all mean? That's my biggest frustration. Like, I think I know what it means. But, I mean, you don't have to give people, like, people aren't stupid. You don't have to force feed them, an ending. But you have to fucking answer something. You have to give us something. You can't just be like, well, it's ambiguous. If you're going to use that line, then you have to have a little bit more context with that. If you're going to be like, choose your own adventure, you got to give people a path to walk down. And that's my biggest issue with this movie. So, 5 out of 10. In the comments below, let me know. Did anyone else see Megalopolis? Because I think it made like $7.1 million. So obviously I'm not the only one who didn't understand what the fuck this movie was supposed to be. It's grossed $7.1 million, and it's on a $400 million budget, which is fucking insane. And what's even more insane about this fucking movie, what's even crazier, is he fucking funded this himself. So this man put up $400 million to make this movie. He had a few contributors here and there, but he put up $400 million of his own fucking money to get this thing made. This was supposed to be made in, like, I don't know, 99, 2000? That's fucking insane to me. That is nuts. And part of me wants to give this a higher score just because you have big balls like that. That's super huge balls. Like, he wanted to fucking do this. So that's where I'm kind of like torn. I can't give this a super bad rating and say it sucks. It doesn't suck. It's just made for him, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, thank you very much, guys, for watching. Let me know in the comments below. What did you think of Megalopolis? Are there any movies you're looking forward to? I did my non-spoiler review for Terrifier 3, but I will, when the movie comes out, be having a spoiler breakdown. I did get to see the movie early. I have a lot to say. It's up there this year with my fucking favorite. My horror movies list is going to be a nightmare to do. There's so many fucking good horror movies. That's why I have my horror shirt. There's so many good horror movies, and it's sad, like, comedies and shit like that, there's very few good ones for those. And then I'm also going to do like top 10 shows for this year. So that's across HBO, Netflix, Amazon. I'm going to be doing 3 separate lists in December. So look out for those. I'm going to do top 10 shows, top 10 movies, and top 10 horror movies of the year. It's going to be a lot of fucking work, but I do it for you guys, so hopefully it gives you good ideas. Let me know in the comments. Have you even heard of Megalopolis? Did you just fucking see the poster and you're like, nope, and walk away because you didn't understand what it was? Like, I'm really interested. I want to know if anybody has fucking seen this movie besides me. Like, there is nothing about this movie. There is nobody fucking talking about this thing. And like the reviews that I've seen, some people had no clue that it was even made by Francis Ford Coppola or it was even a movie. So I'm genuinely curious. In the comments, let me know, how many people have actually seen this fucking movie? Am I like one of the few people in the area I live at who's even fucking gone out to see this? Because nobody was in my theater. So I'm super curious, guys. Let me know. Like, anybody else see this fucking movie? Was I the only person in the theater willing to give this a shot? Like, I wanted to see Joker 2 before this, but I knew about this movie for like a couple of months now. So I'm really fucking curious if anybody besides me has seen this movie. It's crazy. I will get it off the torrents. Oh, yeah. People in the comments, let me know. Write to me in the comments of this video and tell me if you've seen it. what you thought about it, or if you got anything out of it or picked up on anything that I didn't, because I think this is going to be an interesting study, and it might be a movie that people notice later, because it's not a bad film. And maybe I bring my score up if I rewatch it and I get something out of it. Maybe I just missed the fucking point. But I really think this movie is meant to be talked about with people. And I think we're in an age where, no offense to people, but they're fucking stupid and they want simplistic movies. And you know, I'm feeling like some of these movies that have deeper themes and more to them, they get like overlooked. Like, we become too accustomed to easy digestible shit. And I think it's really ruining some of the movie going experience and the conversations and talking about these truly bold movies that are trying to do something different. And the irony of this whole fucking thing is that people are always screaming they want something different. So I don't know. That's just my thoughts. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And as always, remember, there is only one rule here in the Phantom Zone with my boy Nick Cage. Kneel before Zod. That's right, Nick. Kneel before Zod. Thank you.